okay, we can't have a normal season.
Yeah.
What can we possibly do that is worthwhile of bringing everybody in for? And what were those conversations like?
Yeah, no, I mean, for the months of March and April, you tried to stay away from watching the news because you didn't want to get too caught up into what was kind of going on, but you still wanted to prepare for the upcoming season. Then once we knew that the season was not going to happen, it was going to be delayed, we did a opening night hot dog, chip, and drink at the ballpark for fans to be able to come out in a curbside pickup. So fans were literally driving through the parking lot, and we served 1,000 people in a 2-hour span coming through the ballpark in curbside and delivering food to their car as the home opener. And at that point, we still had no idea. And about that point, we started to get real concerned, and we became a little bit more vocal. We created a video with our mascot as to what would we do if we were given the approval to open baseball in an outdoor venue that gathers crowds. And so we created a video that we sent to the governor's office that ran on KSTP and WCCO in the Twin Cities about Northwoods League baseball and how can it operate safely going forward for the summer. Then what we had was we got the approval on 250 fans, which is kind of probably the bottom of where we wanted to be, the minimum number of fans. Typically, we draw 1,000 fans a game. We were allowed to gather at 250 fans. We said, well, you'll take it. Hopefully the numbers will go up. But at that point, baseball, there was a lot of uncertainty of whether you could actually play the game of baseball with 9 players and whether that was low risk, medium risk, or high risk in the state of Minnesota. Ultimately, what we found out is that it wasn't recommended to play baseball, but we were actually allowed to. But there was so much confusing terminology that nobody knew whether we just got approved for 250 fans, but now you can't play the actual game. So what good is having 250 fans if you can't play the game? And so then the player baseball side of it was approved, and all kind of came together. But it was interesting. We met with the players yesterday. So when June 10th hit, we just set a report date of like June 22nd. And we said, get to Willmar, drive here. You got plenty of time. And we're going to practice for a week. And then we're going to start the season on July 1st. At that point, we did not have approval to actually play games at the ballpark. But it was a little bit of a gamble because we knew that we couldn't wait until maybe July 1 when we were actually probably going to have the approval, because then we wouldn't start until July 15th. So there were guys that were driving all the way across the country to maybe practice in Willmar and then turn around and drive back home. But that was the risk that we had to take, was to have guys either fly in or drive here with not knowing. So at that point, we were working with the state, but also with the local city and the municipalities in terms of being able to get Northwoods League baseball approved. And Willmar was the first city in Willmar that we had approval to actually play the games. And then St. Cloud, Mankato, Rochester, Waterloo, Iowa followed behind so that we could actually create our own kind of division and play baseball.
And you had the first game at home. Was it then on July 1st or a couple days after that?
Yeah, so we started July 1. So the schedule goes July 1 to August 20th is what the season was.
And you played how many home games in this time?
So we played 25 home games in that schedule, 20 road games. So we elected to take 5 additional games on at home that were double headers. So, which in hindsight, maybe we wouldn't have done, because double headers and the pitching staff and still playing every day is a little bit taxing in terms of our pitching staff. But we ended up taking on 5 double headers, and we had 1 rain out. So we ended up playing 24 home games, 20 road games.
24 home dates, maximum 250 fans, where a normal season, what is it, 37?
36, yeah, 36 home games. So we were about 2/3 of the amount of home games, and we're a quarter of the fans.
So I need to ask, financially, for all the effort and time to do everything you need to do to host these games and the expenses of the bats and the balls and the bussing the players around, was it worth it to do this?
Yeah, no, I mean, if you looked at it strictly on an expense standpoint, because once the season started, you pay the coaches, you pay the city of Willmar to use the facility, you pay for all the beer and the soda and all the products, you pay the part-time staff. quite honestly, our full-time staff are being employed during that period of time. You're paying the bus bill, you're paying the hotel bill, any other expense that you're going to use up your entire bats, your baseballs in terms of equipment. So that was what every team in the league was looking at, is what is our true expense for a shortened season once the season starts. But what people don't realize is that during the off season, you're creating, these partnerships with area businesses, whether it's signage, promotion at the ballpark. We had to operate in order to be able to kind of re-engage with those businesses again and give them the value that they may have already paid for or are willing to pay for to get it to the end of the season. So we owe, there's a lot of promises made to people outside of the season prior that we felt that we needed to fulfill during the summer. And so, there's many reasons of why you play. I mean, number one is hard to imagine not having a season and losing that brand and that experience in the community to take a year off. I think that can be potentially detrimental in terms of trying to create excitement then going into the next year. So we didn't want to lapse in Northwoods League baseball, but there was other reasons as well.